Pretty much every campaign we did prior to Insightrix was done without ad check. The results, we had nothing to compare it to. So the only results we could really go off of is the results that we got for media campaigns. And that basically just told us the view through rate, whether or not the impressions or the reach. So it didn't actually really tell us about how the perception was taken by the audience that we were trying to reach, or whether or not there was any message comprehension with that. So we really had no basis. We were kind of just like shooting from our hips that, you know, normal agencies kind of do.
So with our ad check project, the first step is always to have a meeting with our client to understand their project, the advertising that they're working on, and from there we take a look at the creatives that we're looking at testing. The survey that we've created is already set up and ready to go, and that really helps us execute quick timelines through the project. So we take the ads that the clients give us, we make sure it fits into the questionnaire, and from there we hand it off to our programmers and our data specialists who implement the survey, send it out to our online panel through Sasquatch Research, collect the data, and then it comes back to us.
We had worked with a client that we developed a character, and we wanted to do an ad check because it was going to be a bigger investment to develop the character. So we wanted to make sure that at least he was likable before we launched him into the public and made this investment.
This particular character was meant to sort of live on through multiple campaigns, so it was really important that we got it right. So one of the key sort of characteristics that the chess club was trying to decide upon was the voice for this character. And so we used our ad check to do sort of an A and B testing of the character voice to see how it landed with consumers. So we ran 2 ad checks simultaneously, one with one character voice and one with the other, and we were able to compare the results from both of those studies to give them feedback about which one was most likely to kind of land smoothly in market.
What we wanted to test was the voice, the enjoyability, the message comprehension, and what we got back was very interesting. I thought they would be really set on the design of the character because it was different. It was more of a 2D character, but they came back and just ripped apart the character's voice.
This particular study was conducted with actually a niche audience of homeowners and builders or construction workers. So it was a really unique audience that we put this data out to and collected feedback from. And it turned out that one of the voices was sort of perceived to be quite childish and silly and didn't test particularly well with construction workers that we tested it with. So some of the open-ended comments that we got back through that survey were pretty funny, but also constructive and helpful for really coming up with a character that was going to land well in market.
I didn't think the voice would be that much weight to it, and we went back with the clients and we had a few laughs about how we needed to invest in a really good voice. The client was able to take this factual evidence to their superiors and say, we're changing it, and this is why the budget is shifting just within their means, but this is why it's shifting because the weight is so heavy on this voice development. And it didn't really deter any of our process because or timing, because we worked out with Insightrix how long it would take, and we worked that into our overall timeline.
It's a really important opportunity for us to identify any red flags that weren't identified or noticed during that design process that can really, cause a stir if the ad doesn't sort of land as we expect it to once it goes out into market. And we've all sort of seen examples of those ads that, it just doesn't quite land right, or maybe it offends a certain group of people that we weren't thinking about. And so the ad check pre-testing can be really effective for identifying those red flags before we send the ad out into production.
Once we did a few ad checks with clients, they saw the return on that, knowing that before going into market and making an investment, they felt almost like solidified in that we had this unbiased factual evidence saying that this creative was well received and we were able to take it into market. And they were able to also go up to their executives and have that due diligence aspect to it, which we've been hearing from clients has really helped them out when they're wanting more budget for projects. So the overall value that we're seeing over a year or so with clients that we've been doing it with has been amazing.